Tonight I'm pleased to have Penny Taylor, our Fidelity vendor, on the call with me tonight, and we're going to go through an actual example of me using Fidelity Title as a resource to upload a list to market to an off-market situation. So that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. So welcome to our call. I'm Rachelle Wilhite, the designated broker, and Shannon is here with me assisting, and Candace is here as well. Both of us have, or all three of us have experienced a lot of questions, especially with our new buyer service agreement. Can we secure off-market opportunities for buyers? And the answer is yes, absolutely. In fact, there's a lot of opportunity for you. Candace said there's even a person outside taking a photo of her house, trying to get more information about her property and the neighboring property. So definitely some opportunities we need to talk about and some rules that we want to go through as well. So Penny, about slide number 4 or 5 is where we've got you slotted. So
okay,
for a little bit. So
will I be able to share my screen?
You should be able to. Shannon will give you sharing rights.
Okay.
So a couple things I want to make sure we're clear about, since we operate across the state of Washington and in Idaho. We have these phrases that are up here on the screen. Coming soon, pre-listing, let's do a deal and cut out the agent to save some money. Can you just write it up? And our pocket listings, can we do a pocket listing? So there are different rules in each state that operate. So I can tell you right off the bat, coming soon is disallowed in Washington, not allowed. It is allowed in Oregon and in Idaho, but not in Washington. So coming soon is no go, and you can get yourself in a lot of trouble and a lot of fines. So don't do it. And pre-listing is also something in Washington we cannot do. Can we do a deal and cut out the agent? Perhaps. Again, you have to do it with the right paperwork. And that's something in Washington and Idaho, you have to have the right paperwork to do those types of deals and cut out maybe the listing firm. But you got to be very careful because you cannot solicit. So any type of marketing that you are sending, you need to make sure that you're putting some sort of disclaimer on your marketing that says, this is not an attempt to solicit your listing if you're listed. You need to have something like that in your marketing pieces. And then can you just write it up? Can you just write up the sale? Again, we have representation responsibilities in both Washington and Idaho. So can you just write it up? It depends. We have to obviously have the right forms, and we do need some sort of representation if we're going to use our forms. Pocket listings, no go in Washington. So there are some ways you can do an off market, but we don't do pocket listings in the state of Washington. So hopefully that gets you guys at least off if you have questions about this, let me know, or put it in the chat. You're welcome to go ahead and chat about some of these things or maybe specific scenarios that you run into. Let's go to the next slide, Shan. So I want you and Candace, if you can unmute your line, talk about these two different scenarios.
Yeah, so there's two real scenarios that we can work with all the time, and these are the ones that are turning up quite a bit. But the first one is when you have a property owner that maybe you've been working with or you've been talking with in the last 6 months about, oh, I got to do this to get the house ready to go on the market, or I'm planning to go on the market in the springtime, or let's say it's an estate and, the grandson ends up wanting to buy grandma's house or something like that, where the property owner has some sort of buyer within their own, sphere or, database or friends, family kind of thing, that they end up wanting to buy the property from that person that they know. So in that scenario, that comes up actually a lot, or those kind of the family to friend or family to otherwise, those will come up quite a bit. And then the other one is when we have a property owner that doesn't want to necessarily list it on the open market, but they will pay a buyer's agent compensation if you're bringing them that buyer. And so a lot of those different scenarios that will come up, Candace, you may have some of these too that you want to share, just so people can kind of hear and see what they're dealing with. But I know some of these scenarios, it's like, they don't want the hassle of going on the market, or maybe their house isn't show ready. It's like, maybe it's a messy house or a hoarder house, or, they're uncomfortable putting it out there for the world to see. And I know those will come up from time to time, usually in the second scenario. What have you seen?
It's also, it's the for sale by owners that haven't gone so well, and they've got the for sale by owner sign in their yard, and they'll tell you, hey, I'm willing to pay a commission to whoever brings me a buyer, but that's about it.
All right. So all of these scenarios can be done. So these are maybe wholesale versus retail. A conversation needs to be had. There is proper documentation you'll need to use if you're going to do it off market. If it's not going to be listed on the market, there is a specific form that you would use where it's identified buyer, where you are going to be paid and compensated for representation. You would need in the state of Washington a Form 47. Where a property owner does not want to list but willing to pay, that also could be a Form 47, or it may not. It may be just the seller represents themselves, and then you get paid a buyer compensation with a Form 41C in the state of Washington. So there are some specific scenarios, and there are forms that go with those various scenarios that you need to be comfortable using. And in those scenarios where we're using a Form 47, again, that's a seller identified, not a listed property. That would be a wholesale type of situation, and that has to be to an identified buyer in the state of Washington. And there is compensation that's usually exchanged in that scenario. Okay, let's go to the next slide. So there's more about the Form 47 in the state of Washington. The owner is seeking broker's assistance, and they're not going to have a listing, so that there is no MLS number that's on your purchase and sale agreement. I highly recommend you use a Form 22RA, an attorney review addendum for all off-market opportunities. That gives the buyer or the seller, depending on how you check the box, their right to have their attorney review it. Now, if you're representing the buyer or the seller or both, you can certainly include that addendum. It's not required, but it is certainly a good practice if you're doing off market. And then we do have to report in the state of Washington. Northwest MLS requires us to report the off market into the MLS within 3 days of the close of escrow. And there is a form to do that, and we'll remind you on how that goes. Let's go to the next slide. So I told you guys we're going to jump right in and actually do this tonight. An actual off-market opportunity, and I involved Penny on this broker service agreement. This is something that I just doctored up. I don't want to give you all of the information, but this is essentially the scenario, the agreement that I have signed last week, and it was made after January 1st, 2024. It's our new buyer broker service agreement, and it gives me until June 30th to essentially find and locate and negotiate an opportunity for my buyer to purchase a home in the Renton Highlands. My buyer will have actually already made application to get a loan and just decided, you know what, we're going to keep our house over in Twin Lakes. They live on the Twin Lakes golf course, and we want to move to the Renton Highlands. We want to, and it's actually the Fairwood golf course. So this is a sample buyer brokerage service agreement, but we're going to actually send out some letters to some identified potential sellers that we may or may not take the listing for, but we definitely have a buyer brokerage service agreement that we want to try to locate a viable property. So essentially, I have a buyer. If you have a buyer brokerage service agreement and you're not finding something on on the multiple listing service, and you have to go hunt it down, I'm going to show you how to do that tonight. And you definitely want to involve your title officer. That'll save you a lot of time and energy. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Penny. This is the slide I created for you, Penny. This kind of to narrow it down, how you build a deluxe farm, because essentially that's what you did for me. We talked, and then we narrowed down some criteria, and then your helpful people went ahead and sent me the spreadsheet, which I have available right now. So
Okay.
I'll turn it over to you.
Okay. So I'm probably not going to use the spreadsheet they sent to you because I want to be able to show it on the map I have here.
Okay.
So the first step has already been done. You've selected your market area, right? And so I call it a 4-prong approach because the letters are just one approach. Basically, they have to kind of see you in different ways within your market sphere. So is there, let's see.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
what I can show you on this map are the stats of a farm and what the turnover rate is. And honestly, I'm not paying attention to as much turnover rate right now because they're low everywhere. Generally, you want your turnover rate to be over 5%, and that's kind of hard to find.
Can you share your screen, or is it not working? There's a little button at the bottom.
Yep.
There we
Can
go.
you guys see that?
It's coming. There we are.
All right.
Beautiful.
So this is a farm that I basically pulled for a friend of ours. And I'm going to go back here, and I'm leaving this farm because I want to show you how to do this from the beginning. This is a platform that I can send you. You have to have my access code to be able to get in it. And once you're in it, then this is what I'm showing you is how you pull a farm and exercise what the turnover rate should be. So I'm going to collect my farm with a polygon right now. So
Okay.
I'm going to click on this polygon. Can you guys still see my screen?
We can. Yep.
Okay. And I'm going to put the address in because this is a big area. I don't want that many. So I'm putting an address in. That's mine. And then I'm going to scroll down here on the bottom left. You're going to see a button that says continue and reset polygon. I'm going to continue because I haven't actually, hang on a second. I skipped a step. Sorry.
It's okay.
It's because the screen's in the way. Okay, I'm going to find my address. Okay, this little toggle, this red toggle, that's me. That's where I'm at. So now I'm going to draw. You see this line here?
Yep.
I'm going to draw. Every time I click and drag, it leaves a circle. So I'm going to click it again. Well, it's not doing that now. Stop it. I'm going to reset my polygon. Okay, now I'm going to start over. Okay, you see this little plus sign?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to click up here, leaves a circle. I'm going to drag it over here. It's going to leave a circle.
Okay.
I'm going to drag it down here, and there's my other circle. My property is still in here. It's this red little toggle thing. Now I'm going to meet my first circle. Now it's going to tell me basically how many properties are in here that I just pulled. So about 317 properties is what I pulled in here. So below, I'm going to now click my continue button. And this is a pretty heavy residential neighborhood. So I'm taking out all commercial properties.
Okay.
I'm taking out vacant land, and I'm taking out 2 to 4 units. And I'm going to scroll down again. I'm going to acknowledge that this is the farm I want, and I'm going to get my count. So now I'm going to name it. Hang on a second. I'm going to name this farm. Oh, wait a second. It's going to cost me 2.1 credits. I can show you if we have a one-on-one. It's basically $2.10. How to put credits in your account, and then you draw from that as you create your farms. Phones and emails are a different pay method. So I will show you that in a second. So I'm going to send this to my farm manager, and I'm going to enable it Penny. I'm going to agree, and I'm going to click send. Do you want me to admit this, Gal?
Sure. Shannon can admit the people though. Penny, don't worry about it. Just keep going. This is fast moving.
It is fast moving, I know, and it's really intense. So one-on-ones are better. We can do this. I can share my screen and we can go from there. I don't expect you to remember all this.
No, I think,
So
I
in
think it was good that you have the turnover. I mean, visually, it looks like turnover rate is right there front and center. That's awesome. See, I don't have.
So you see my farm grades, A, B, C, D. Mine's terrible. It's 2.2, right? I don't care. I don't really care about the turnover rate because it's going to start moving again.
Right.
And you can see all the turnover rates in here. I did pull one for Rizwan as a great turnover rate. So now I'm going to click on my name, which then brings up my farm. And it brings up all the properties I pulled. So 316. I don't know why the other could be duplicates that were in there. And those little red check marks next to each name is there's two of them, is either there's a phone available or there is an email available or there's both. Okay. This button up here on the right hand side this is my complete farm. If I wanted to export this complete farm, I'd go to my share button and I would download my CSV file right there.
Perfect.
Comes back to you in an Excel spreadsheet. You drop it into your CRM. There you can do whatever you want with it.
So
But I
this
really
is a way to
don't.
control it. Like if I could certainly call you, which is what I did last week, and you ran it. But if I wanted to go through and like really scrub it or control it, then I would want to come into the live farm and actually manipulate it, use the drawing tools and go through it, right?
Well, because one like around my address, if I want to target that, I'm going to target people within that circle of addresses differently because single family owners are different than absentee owners. Out of state owners are different than people that live there. Your message is different. So this program allows you to target those people with the correct message, right? Through a phone and email. So my complete farm, I'm going as fast as I can. The complete farm up here is like the everything. It's the everything bagel, right? It's got all the bells and whistles and everything's in it. You've got absentee owners, renters, out-of-state sellers, single family sellers, most likely to sell all of that. When you pull this menu down, you're going to see all these other things you could pull underneath the umbrella of the 316. Can you guys hear my animals? They're really noisy.
No, you've
Gosh.
done good.
Okay, so I really want to
316, I could find out absentee. How many of 316 are absentee then?
Yes. Or
Okay.
how many? Let's do this one because out of state is hot. I'm telling you guys, it's hot. Out of state owners within my 316 are going to be 14.
Good phone numbers too.
That is 14 handwritten, stay on your radar, hammer them emails, hammer them cards, send them I love referral cards and 5 of your cards and a Starbucks card or something. So that even if it's an LLC, who cares if it's an LLC? You want it because if they're an LLC in a different state, you definitely want to be in their radar. So they probably have more than one listing or more than one home. So this is how you would narrow that down. So do you see what I'm saying about the 316 versus now I have just 16 or 14?
Yeah, it's more of a live kind of format rather than the other thing that I'm going to do tonight would be I got the list. I'm going to go ahead and upload it, but this, you could really scrub it and really do a lot more with it. Right.
Right. And so now you have the opportunity. So you have already paid for your farm with your $2.01, basically 2.1 credits.
Okay.
Now you're going to come in here. Sorry, my dog is chasing my cat. Now you're going to come in here and get phones and emails. And you know what? I want mail to address. Okay. So now I'm going to click on phones and emails and it says I'm about to receive my 14 possibilities. So I go to reverse and it's going to process that. And then this screen tells me how many potential phone matches I have, how many potential email matches I have. There's a total of 20 and it's going to cost me $1.60 for that. So I would be building my database.
And does it just go into my email box after I pay for this? Is that what happens with the
Yeah,
list?
it comes in an Excel spreadsheet. You download it and put it wherever you want to put it on your computer, right? Okay. So if you have a CRM or if you use Outlook or however it is that you have your database managed, this is a really great program if you want to do drip emails to people that and maybe a follow-up call. I've been talking a lot about this month and what's popular about this is that people can increase their territory with emails and still be within their market sphere. But that means that whatever, maybe you're sending an absentee owner some information about a 1031 exchange. And this is the time to do that. So you would have an opportunity within that. Oh, you would have an opportunity within that to speak to that. And they're thinking, oh, these guys know that I own something and they want to help me move money and not pay taxes type thing. So that's one approach.
It's So this live farm is not, it's not like it's a new thing, right, Penny? We've been teaching this for the last, I would say, 4 years. But I think more people that are using it, they actually are doing it to get the phone numbers and email addresses, right? Actually doing something with the live farm. So
Yes.
if you're going to do that type of drill down, I think this is essential to be able to have that type of control. Otherwise, a lot of people just get lists and then they do nothing with them, right? So that's what we don't want to have happen, is just a list that you do nothing with. And
Absolutely.
how many times do you pull lists and then they do nothing with it? There's a
Well,
lot.
and it's part of the 4-prong approach, right? They have to see you in an email. They have to see your open house sign on the corner in the same area. They have to see maybe a postcard from you quarterly. Postcards are expensive to send out every
Right.
month, right? So email them. You can slide dial some of these phone numbers. I mean, you don't even have to talk to people. You can just say, hey, I sent you an email with my CMA package. And basically, I just wanted to see how you liked it. Is there, if you need anything, this is who I am. Slide dial's great. So
Perfect.
this is, I'm just showing you one avenue. There's all different kinds of micro farms that you can have in here that basically allow you to get to know your market.
Okay. So definitely want to involve your title company. Penny, that was great. Penny's
you.
been doing this a long time, you guys. She used to be a real estate broker too. So I love that she understands how you think and how you build your business. So we have adored working with Penny over the years.
I
And
do still have an agent ring. I have an
yes,
agent
you
ring.
do. That's good to have that. So you definitely want to narrow your criteria. You do want to discuss turnover rate, especially if you're going to be marketing a certain neighborhood. And then how much you want to spend. So I told Penny last week, I don't want to spend more than 200. And her team of people over in customer service, they got me a list, and I'm going to actually use the list. And then I'm going to get with Penny after this call, and you certainly are welcome to do that as well. Schedule a meeting one-on-one with her, where you can basically learn how to use the farming tool. There's obviously a lot to it, but I like that she kept it really, narrowed down as far as what I would use it for. So once I send out my first mail out, then I'm going to go in and do a live farm. And then that way I can kind of get some phone numbers and emails and make some contact, because marketing is not a one and done kind of thing. So there's a prospecting letter that we have already created for you. It's in our Best Choice Realty Marketing Center. So if you want to bookmark this is a tool that you all have access to. I know Lori sent out an email, our marketing director, today to give you a login and password. If you don't have one, be sure to respond to her and she'll be happy to get you a password to access this. But we already have a letter. We're going to actually go through and show you how I'm going to do it. And if you want to hang tight, Penny, you can see how quickly we can pull this together.
Yeah, I would love to. That's okay.
So Shannon's going to demo it for us. So you'll have bcrmarketingcenter.com. You should be able to access that tomorrow from our website. You will need a login and password, and you will need to go in and create a profile for yourself, upload your photo, a picture. I've already done that in my profile. So you will need to go in and put your name, your phone number, your office number, and make sure it's all correct, because otherwise you're going to be sending out mail pieces that don't have your correct information. Then we're going to go into prospecting. And then we have these different letters. So click on letters. And the next step, it's called the magic letter. So that's the one that we've kind of preset for you. And I had to go in and so it gives you kind of a framework. So you're not having to, certainly you can use ChatGPT. I know some of you guys are going to be on ChatGPT now. That's okay. But at least it's formatted. You can see my name, my contact information all below. And it's on nice letterhead, and I can do it right from here. So I already went ahead and typed it up. I kind of want the font to be increased in size, so Shannon can play with that for me. Yeah, can make it 18. I like that. That looks nice and big. And I'm currently helping my clients. So this is the client I told you guys about with the buyer service agreement that is already signed. They allowed me to use their names, and they definitely gave me their scenario. They're not going to be obtaining financing. They can pay cash. And the reason they're moving is to be closer to their grandson who was born last year. Their son, Spencer Clapp, is an avid golfer. So again, you want to really personalize and humanize your letter. You'll get more people that actually respond to you. And then I wrote in here, in an attempt to find other opportunities, we thought we would contact homeowners like you who may be thinking about selling either now or in the future. This type of opportunity for the claps would not require for you to pay compensation to list. I added that line. They have signed an agreement already for me to represent them, and they are willing to pay my professional fee. You certainly can write that. That is okay to do. We are a full service real estate firm, and this letter is a sincere attempt to find a home for the claps. If you are interested in learning more, please call here. And then on the bottom, there is the non-solicitation thing on the bottom. So the date, my name, my signature, it looks like my signature. That sounds kind of fun. I'm going to go ahead and go to the next. I could download it, kind of print it, make sure it looks good. Or I could just go right to the order or the direct mail. I'm going to go right to the direct mail. Going to view the back. There's the back. View the front. Okay. Direct mail. Already have an existing list, or I can use a polygon kind of concept just like Penny did, but I already have the list. So I'm going to go ahead and mail to the list. You're going to click that. And then what you'll see is what Penny's team sent me, which is the spreadsheet. And I looked at it, Penny, and it was less than 200. So that was good. It's going to ask you to proof it. So I'm going to accept the proof. Notice the production time. This is really quick production time, 1 to 5 days. So you'll have to allow extra time for door hangers and specialty brochures. But for this type of printing, this can be out the door within 1 to 5 days. I don't know of a print shop that can do that faster. It's actually very, very quick. So there's our thing that Penny sent me. And she sent me the Fairwood golf course and then the criteria. And I think it only cost me a couple bucks. It was $2.10, Penny. There you go. So it was very similar to going on the live farm and doing it as well. So Shannon's going to go ahead and browse, grab it, upload it, click next. Yep, we got to do a little bit of formatting. That's just kind of how it goes. We have to name, address, city, state, and zip. So Shannon's going to go in. I know we wanted to make it as real as possible, so I didn't even doctor this ahead of time. I thought we might as well get this done. It's one thing that's on my to-do list. So they give us so much information at Title sometimes, and we have to dumb it down for some of our programs. So all we've got to do is basically put in the name, the address, and the city. So she's going to get rid of some of the other columns. Is that what you're going to do? Yep. While she's doing that, Candace or Penny, do you have anything to add? I mean, you saw how fast that was. It was very quick.
Yeah, that was really good. It reminds me of a breakthrough broker platform.
It
Almost.
is. It's because the same designer. Same designer.
Oh, okay.
That's why it looks
I
familiar.
recognized it. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Breakthrough Broker's amazing too.
So we
No,
have
I do wish Title, and I'm going to make that recommendation. I wish they would leave all the other stuff out except for phones and emails, because basically you only need those 5 things to create a marketing list.
well, some people don't have Excel, and then they call and they have to edit. So yeah, would be helpful if it was just name, phone number, address. But you could see Shannon's having to go in and do some of this work.
And she knows Excel so well.
I know. We have the talented Shannon Hall here loading that. But as far as like, if I saw that my list wasn't correct, all I had to do is contact my Title and they'd rerun it. I mean, if there was something that didn't seem right, they would go ahead and rerun it for me. So they're very easy to work with.
Very.
And if you're like thinking, I want a different letter, I want, I'm prospecting a different way. Maybe I have a buyer. Maybe it's some other type of, about a home valuation. Maybe I want to send that type of out or do something for those. I think Penny mentioned about having, those out of state sellers.
I can send you a neighborhood profile report. You get it from customer service. They're amazing because they are really something that your clients like to look at. And they're only $2. They live large. I was just talking to somebody else in here, and he knows who he is, but about the neighborhood profile report, because basically it shows how long they've lived there, the assessed values, sales stats by year, which I love. And if I was selling again, I would want that assistance, because sometimes you have to defend what you think your price range is. It
Right.
helps them get real about price. You know, and that kind of thing. You can show them actually and just be the messenger instead of somebody with your opinion, right?
Do you have a sample? A NAR
I
report?
do. Hang on
Oh,
a second.
perfect. Yeah, well, Shannon's doing the spreadsheet. If you could show that on your screen, that would be awesome. Because I think that's helpful, even if you're door knocking. I know I've taken that NAR report to my neighbors and they love it. You know, just gonna get a quick.
Oh yeah, it's a great little report. It's a second. And they're great for open houses too. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to Zoom. Can I screen share? Or
You should.
do you want me to send it to you?
No, go ahead and screen share. Shannon needs a few minutes to make sure our spreadsheet's working.
Okay. So now I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna pick this one.
And I told Shannon, I said, let's get this done. I want this done out the door. So while we're doing it, we're gonna do a little break here with the neighborhood
So
report.
I like this report. I think it's kind of fun, especially if you're having an open house. You can kind of show a buyer what's going on. It shows you how many properties they pulled in the very top here, the sales dates, how many are waterfront, how many have views, that kind of thing. Here's the sales stats by year. So again, this is how you can defend a sales price. The sellers tend to get up high in the sky, think about their home. This is the length of residence, really great for targeting your farm for you, because now you get to see there's 204 within this area that have been there 20 plus years. The age of the homes is not really, you don't really care about, but your clients do. So obviously 20 plus years here. This little graph down here is kind of cool because it shows you how many are owner occupied, how many are in-state non-owner occupied, which I call a two-pronged farm, because those are renters, residents of, or they are owners, absentee owners. So they're landlords, right? So two different kind of approaches there. And then 13 in the sample are out of state. So there's only 2% out of all of those parcels that are out of state. And then here's your assessed value. So the majority of the assessed value in this particular report is 600,000 to 1 million. So there's the average general. These little reports are $2. Do you guys know how to take a snapshot of a PDF?
Yeah.
Okay. So what I recommend is when you're sending these out, that you take a snapshot of this. And if you don't know, I'll show you really quick. I just went to my home page, my home tab on top of my PDF. I'm going to click on snapshot. I'm going to click over here on the document. Oops. Oh, well, it's supposed to take the whole thing. And that's how you take a snapshot to embed in your email, because they don't want to open attachments, just so you know. So get that from me.
Awesome.
We can use it as a zip code. So if you want to just pertain to a zip code, a lot of clients do that, agents do that, because they can use it in a lot of different ways within their market sphere. We can also use it if you're going to take it to a listing appointment to see about sales price. You want sellers to be real about what their sales price might be. You can order that, take it with you as your part of your market value.
Oh, that's great.
There is one more thing I want to show you, but I don't want to take up all your time. These are called CMAs, and I had them made for myself. And it's what I call unsolicited CMAs. And if I could show you real quick, is that okay?
Go for it. Shannon needs a little minute. Shannon, you're good? Okay, go ahead, Penny.
Okay, I'll just be really short, just a second here. Okay.
Like kind of a mini CMA or something?
I had one made because I like the way it looked. I want it to get opened, and I wanted to be able to send it to people that I want to talk to. Hang on a second. Okay, can you all see that?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is what I call an unsolicited CMA. And this should say sample on it. This is actually my house when I bought it. It doesn't look like this anymore. But so this is what I would send to a potential seller, or what I would take with me on a listing appointment. So this is their current market. Okay, this is when they bought it. This piece forces you to create your About Me page because I'm big on About Me. I'm big on your Google presence and what people find when they Google you. And so this creates your About Me page. Everybody wants to know who you are, what makes you tick. This is the comparable properties today, not 8 years ago when I bought it, but today of the properties that would compare and have sold in this area. So I would send that to him, pull them off Redfin, Zillow, whatever you want to do, plug this in. This is a template created in Canva. And then this is what a flyer would look like, Mr. Seller, if I were to list your home today. These are some of the pictures I would use. Here's the verbiage, da, 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 da. So the whole idea being door knocking, that kind of thing, or whatever you want to do, especially out of state sellers. This is a great thing to send them because it shows that you're vested in the market and you've created a piece that pertains particularly to their home. So that's what I want.
Yeah, it's good that you have something that gets people talking. I mean,
Well, it lives on the counter longer than your business card.
Yeah. Yeah, very good.
Okay.
All right, Shannon's ready. Thank you, Penny. That's awesome. Okay, so then we got our spreadsheet. That's what you'll see next. Mail to list. It's already going to do it for you. Save. Yeah, if you want to save it, that way you don't have to do it again. If I'm going to send out another postcard or another mail, I'm going to go ahead and save it. Okay, and then it's going to cost me, I'm going to do 140 of these suckers. I've already got the buyer service agreement, so my buyer already knows that I'm going to be spending some money in order to make money. You have to spend money to make money. You can't just expect this is going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to go ahead with my credit card. Shannon, you can go ahead with the credit card there. So that's how much so it's about, what is $1 something a mail? That's how much it costs. And I think
How many did you have?
200 and, you're muted, Shannon.
Sorry, 140 for, I think it was $124. No, $242. Thanks, guys.
So it was 100, what was how many, 140?
140. Yep.
And it was 240 bucks. So it was $1.71 per mail. And all I had to do was push some buttons and have Shannon scramble here for 10 minutes to get that done. And Penny, I had to make a phone call, but really that's all I had to do. Look how payment was successful. And I will get a copy of what was mailed out as well.
Perfect.
And then I will save that receipt for my accountant. You guys should do the same because that is all a taxable expense. Am I right, Candace?
Yes, you are correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Any questions? Shannon, thank you very much. That was awesome. That was almost too fast. But that's how easy it needs to be, is you guys have to first figure out what you're going to send, how you're going to send it, and then you just need to get it done. Stop sitting on those lists, because I think Penny and other title companies, that's the number one thing they say is that how many lists I get people, and then they do nothing with them. I think that's the number one thing. Awesome. I think that was it. If there's any other questions, Shannon or Candace, let me know. But that's a wrap. Hopefully that was helpful to see.
Nice to see everybody.
Thanks, Penny.
Yes.
Thanks for having me.
BCRmarketingcenter.com is the website that you could go to, and you just need a login and password, and then you can play around. If you have never built a flyer with our market center, it's very easy to do. And we have done some trainings on this before. So good luck, you guys out there, and have a great week. And we'll talk to you next Monday.
Bye-bye.